Hi guys, Jen here with a close-up on today's creation. Just real quick, it's a nice fast beanie. I did this with Tunisian Crochet, and this yarn is a 5-weight yarn, so it's a little bit heavier, kind of on the bulky side. However, I've also recreated the same pattern with a few of the thinner yarns like your regular 4s and whatnot, and gotten similar effects. You're still gonna see all these great stitches coming through and a good ribbing. And then of course it is slouchy, so you've got some nice little shape going on in the back. So guys, without further ado, I'm gonna walk you through all the stitches. I'm gonna show you how to put it all together, and then I'm gonna show you what to do with the leftovers. So grab your hook, grab your yarn, and let's get stitching. We are going to take our yarn, do a nice slip knot, and using our Tunisian crochet hook, we're gonna go ahead and start casting on. So I don't have a fixed number of chains because I make this with different yarn each time, but you're going to want to go until you have about 13 inches long or just a little bit more. And that's for a standard adult hat. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and turn it, and working in the bumps, we're going to start casting on. So just pull up one loop all the way, keeping all those loops on there. Now that we're here, you've got all these loops, we're going to begin casting off, but start by just chaining one, and then you're going to start yarn over, pull up 2 loops. Keep pulling up 2 loops until you make it all the way to the end and you only have 1 loop left. Now for the first few stitches, because this is this is going to be the brim of the hat, this is going to be the rest, and then we'll cinch it in at the end. So for about 2 inches, or it looks like maybe about 5 or 6 stitches, we're going to work 1 stitch, and then we're going to work the rest of the stitch here. So for this stitch, we're going to be doing a reverse. You're going to be reaching behind and grabbing that back bar. So you have a back bar and a front bar. So you just want to work it in there, and this does get easier, but you're going to be reaching that back hoop and pulling up. Do that for about 5 or 6 stitches, or until you've reached about 1 inch or 2 inches, however thick you want that brim. I'm going to go ahead and do it for 6 stitches. So for the remaining, we're going to be alternating a purl stitch and a simple stitch, and you'll see how it goes. So for this first row, you're going to start with simple stitch, purl stitch, and I will do several more because I know that may be new for a lot of people. So simple stitch, you're just pulling up 1 loop. Purl stitch, you're going to the back side, then pulling that bar, bringing that to the front and pulling it through. Simple stitch, purl. Keep alternating. I'll do a few more with you. For this last one, it's very key. You make sure you pick up 2 loops. So you've got like that little twist going on right there. Grab both of those. You'll have 2 loops on the hook and pull up that last one. That will keep everything nice and in line. Same way we're going to cast off. We're just going to start by pulling through 1, and then you're going to pull through 2 all the way to the end. All right. So now again, we're going to start with those back stitches. So you're grabbing the back bar for the same amount of stitches as you did on row 1. So, and then you're pulling up. I did 6. So again, I'm going to do 6 reverse stitches. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And forgive me, I actually did 5 because I forget that that one counts as the first that you started the row. Okay, so we started with a simple stitch on the previous row. I promise you'll get better at seeing it, but if you need a cheat, This one has that little horizontal bar, whereas this one does not, and this one does not. This was because you did a purl stitch, whereas this was a simple stitch. So now you want to work the opposite. We started with simple here. I want to work a purl here. We did a purl here, so I'm going to work a simple here. Simple, so I'm going to switch and do a purl here. Simple, purl. Keep going. I think you get it all the way to the end. And don't overthink it. We're at the edge again, but you're going to grab that twist right there and grab those 2 loops on the end and pull through. Cast off the same way you have, and I'll see you at the end. We'll do one more row together. So we'll work one more row together before I leave you to your own demise for a little bit. That back row, pick up 1. I'm grabbing that back bar for that same number of stitches. You might have a different amount. I'm doing 5 or until I see 6 loops on the hook. Hold on. Perfect, and you'll see it's creating that ribbed texture, while over here you're going to start getting these little circles or these little octagon looking shapes, which are really fun. All right, so over here I have this horizontal bar, and then I have the vertical, and then I have that cutoff. So that's my clue. This is a purl stitch. That means I need to do the opposite, simple stitch. Then keep going. So purl stitch goes after that. Simple, purl. And I unfortunately have a knot right there. Simple, purl. Don't forget to grab the 2 loops at the end. And then cast off. And you're going to want to keep making this long enough until this wraps comfortably around your head. I'm guessing I'm going to be around 18 to 19 inches. I will verify that, but I have to try it on a few times till I figure out the perfect size. So I will see you when you think you're about there, and then we'll wrap up the last row and I'll show you how to put this together. Okay, so now I have gone ahead and done my number of rows. You'll see we have this for the rim, or the brim, sorry, and then this pattern going across for the rest of our hat. I went about 20 inches, and we're gonna make this last row together because as you can see, we have some flaring and we want to tie that up. So you're gonna keep working the same stitches as you have been. So you're gonna do that reverse. Normally you would pull up and keep it on the loop, but instead, whoops. But instead we are going to pull it through. We're gonna do another one, pull it through. Boom, pull it through until you've done the, for me it was 5 stitches, or until I had 6 on the hook. So I'm going to do another 5 stitches here. Nothing changes. You're just pulling through, and that will tighten that up. So I've done my 5. I'm going to go back now. We switch to the purl simple alternating. So right here, this is a purl, that's a simple, that's a purl, that's a simple. So I need to do the opposite again. Nothing changes. Simple, except instead you're pulling it through. Purl and pull it through. And you're going to keep doing this all the way across, and then you're going to fasten off at the end. All right, so we've gotten to that last one. Make sure you're pulling up the 2, you're pulling it up again, and then you're gonna wanna fasten off. Now, when we fasten off, go ahead and leave a long tail because we're gonna be using this to weave in. So go ahead and give yourself plenty of space and finish pulling that through. There goes my hook. So the next part's going to be a little bit tricky. You have your right side, you have your wrong side. So just like sewing, you're going to face your right sides together. So all the pretty design and pretty design are going to be facing each other. We have our long tail. I use a regular hook for this just because I don't have to worry about the tail bugging me, but if all you have is that Tunisian hook, you're fine to do this with that as well. I like to pull from this side of the corner whenever I sew together. So I'm going to pull those loops that are on this side facing, those two loops to get me started. And then I'm going to pull the last two on this one. And we're just going to be doing a lot of slip stitches. For this one, I do tend to go backwards because it's easier to get the yarn through. So just yarn over this way. So I come across the front and go that way, and then I kind of rotate my hook through to pull it. So I am doing this action as I pull it through, and that just helps to it just helps to get it through there and get you started. The rest is going to be very easy. You're just going to grab two loops there. You can just throw that to the side right now. You're going to grab two loops there. And we're just going to be working a slip stitch all the way across. And I just match the chains. I'll see you at the end. Okay, so you're at that last one, except I always go again. We matched on the sides on the front, so you are going to grab those side ones and you're just going to pull it there, and then you're going to pull all the way through. That will make a knot. You will weave that in. So now the last part we need to do is that top, but just to give you a sneak peek, it is coming together. So let's go ahead and figure out this top. Hindsight, if I make this again, which I definitely will, I am going to start by making this with a longer tail. Gives you more to work with, but I am going to use this to just whip stitch in each of this and then pull it tight and then secure it to get the final part of our hat the way we are looking for. So you're just going to use a needle, yarn needle. Make sure it's a wide eye or that part will be an incredible nightmare. And then you're just going to start by grabbing these, and actually instead of a whip stitch, I think I'm going to go back and forth, only because I don't want too much tension on this yarn. This yarn tends to tear, and we'll kind of keep pulling it as we go. And if you did not leave a long enough tail to do this part with, just grab another strand of yarn. You'll just grab another one, you'll tie it on, and you'll do the same process until you get to the end, and then just weave in the ends. The only reason I like doing it with the tail is it usually means I have less weaving in to do later, and I am all about working smarter, not harder. All right, these last ones, things are getting a little bit difficult, but you're just gonna keep, I've gotten that last one, now I just want to tighten all that up. So get this on the inside, pull it tight. If you need to fish your hand underneath to see what's going on, by all means. There's not a lot of method to this madness at this point, other than I'm gonna go back and forth trying to lock this up. Now on this last one, to secure it, you're just gonna push it through. We're gonna do, oopsie, yarn can snap on you. So glad you guys got to see that live so you know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to try to get away with doing one more knot before I weave in the rest of this, but it might be a little bit of a trick. All right. Naturally, you're just going to want to weave in all of these ends. All right, so then you're going to flip it inside out. And you've got yourself your slouchy beanie. Your seam will be nice and neat right there. That'll go towards the back. And you are all set. Now, lastly, don't forget, save those scraps. Head over to this video right here and make yourself a matching headband. If you guys aren't in the market for a headband, give it to a friend. These are great gifts, and let's spread the love of yarn. Guys, I'll see you in the next video.